for a subset of our community, what's happening right now, it actually constitutes a decisive shift from individual ownership. So one of the key principles of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is the idea of individuals having control of their own money, right? Without any needs for any intermediaries. So if a large portion of Bitcoin is actually owned by institutional investors through the ETFs, so for these particular investors, doesn't it shift the balance away from individual ownership? Let's say this ETF game becomes a trend. So no, all of a sudden you are investing in Bitcoin but not directly holding it.
Sure. Yeah. So, in a certain sense, that's definitely true, and it's important because, without your key, not your keys, not your coins. That's in a certain sense, it's true. But with an ETF or a trust like this, it's very unlikely that BlackRock or the ETF is going to basically steal the Bitcoins and not give them back to you. I think the amount of regulation that's there is probably going to be sufficient to stop that from happening. But what's definitely true is that Bitcoin loses its cryptocurrency nature in this sense. If you own a share of an ETF, you don't have actual Bitcoins, you're not interacting with the blockchain. It's just asset ownership. And basically, it doesn't make a difference whether it's cryptocurrency or anything else. The only kind of property of Bitcoin that survives this conversion is its price. And so in one sense, that's bad from the view of people who think that Bitcoin is going to change the world and basically allow micropayments in third world countries and allow financial inclusion and is going to change society. This kind of means that aspect of Bitcoin isn't there anymore. Now it's just an asset with a price. But on the other hand, Bitcoin is the right cryptocurrency to do this with. If it was Ethereum, for example, that was in an ETF, that would mean that all of its ability to be used for interacting with smart contracts and so on, that would all be gone. With Bitcoin, Bitcoin doesn't kind of get used up. It doesn't have utility apart from being kind of a transferable asset that becomes scarcer over time. So in a sense, it's the right cryptocurrency to do this with. If you did it with any other cryptocurrency, that cryptocurrency would lose some of its utility because it was being converted into an asset that basically just has a price. But Bitcoin, in a sense, what's propelled Bitcoin to its current price is the fact that everybody knows it's becoming scarcer and people are trying to get it before it becomes very scarce, and they expect the price to go up because of that. So in a sense, like Bitcoin's price has been basically the thing that has driven it to its current state. And in a certain sense, Bitcoin is an asset that's held not because of its utility, but because of expectations of future price appreciation. So it's definitely true that this is taking something away from Bitcoin in the sense that people who own Bitcoin this way, it's not really a cryptocurrency that they're owning anymore. But on the other hand, it's not that bad for it to happen with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has kind of become an asset that whose price is basically its defining feature.
Anyone with $10,000 doesn't have to invest in a Bitcoin ETF or ETT. They can just go and buy it on Coinbase, stick it on a ledger. That's always an option, right? So I'm going very back to Jurica's original question about what happened to self-custody. The answer is it was always there, always will be there. It's just people are, by and large, want it to be super easy, right? And don't mind what I consider to be serious compromises, right? So that's that. So another thought that I had during this conversation actually is let's call it an ETF. The shares in the BlackRock ETF, right, are going to be used as collateral in TradFi, right? So in terms of, I'm talking about BTC use cases in light of this conversation. So I already consider Bitcoin to be pristine collateral in DeFi, right? Because it's decentralized, because it's mined like gold and all the rest of it, it is pristine collateral as far as I'm concerned. But because it's unregulated and because there are no regulated, equities that relate to Bitcoin until the ETF, traditional finance can't use it as collateral, right? So as soon as the ETF shares go live, well, that's effectively like Bitcoin that can be used as collateral in traditional finance. That's to me, that's huge. That's absolutely huge, because it means there can be all this additional demand for Bitcoin to be used as a global, pristine collateral asset.
That's an absolutely brilliant point. I hadn't thought about that before. It's true. Bitcoin has, in a sense, it's even got more utility now. That's perfect.